Well, Margaret, we're pretty close. We're a minute or two off. But everyone, will you thank our friends here at Church, Craig and John, for a great presentation? Thank you very much. We have a special dispensation from Naga.
I think we have a couple of minutes for questions.
Okay,
If
special
somebody wants to
dispensation.
ask
If anyone's
final questions, you're 3 minutes early, so you get the
Well,
gold
we did
star
really
today.
well. Exactly. David.
The resource development is going on along the Russian front, particularly when the oil and gas, and particularly the volume of icebreakers that are looking at the able to get those to the market. The use of all the stuff and historical resources full studies are done. And so we have to, on our side, many more science research related more so than the actions that are going on here. And now it's what's going to happen, how we access the art and that aspect. But perhaps we're looking at talking about schools for all of questions for these reports.
Yeah, I'll answer, but let Church go first.
Oh, first of all, thank you for that question. I guess there's two things I'd bring to the fight on this. First and foremost, what other nations do on their Arctic sovereign territory, informs our thinking. Ultimately, we're more concerned with the Department of Defense, not so much into the energy development efforts of the Russian Federation, in this example. But really, what are they going to do defense-wise, security-wise, to quote secure those investments they're making themselves? And again, as long as it kind of maintains a defensive posture, we're less concerned. The problem is right now, when you go to Moscow, the Kremlin, their processes are pretty opaque to us. Their intentions are somewhat opaque to us. So they have put capability in around their Arctic shorelines that is capable not only of defending, but projecting power to and through the Arctic basin. And so the Yamal liquid natural gas plants that are, quite spectacular investments, mostly funded by Chinese dollars with some European dollars involved, but principally a Russian China investment benefiting the Chinese economy more than it is benefiting the Russian economy. And certainly today, you look at every ruble Russia gets is, it's precious because their values are going down. The reality, though, is that when it comes to in energy investments and really making their economic benefit, can they use this in a way to help fuel their fight? And that's the concern right now, is that every dollar they make, they're using that to push their military agenda. Not necessarily in the Arctic region. It's mostly going to Ukraine, but the question is, it can also be utilized into an Arctic projection of power. So our concerns, frankly, within studying this problem, okay, and this is where I'm going to frame it to a Stevens Center approach, is studying what Russia does with their own economic development. How does it potentially present risk to our NATO alliance, so our own sovereign territory, our national interest in and around the Arctic basin? And much to be known yet on that, frankly. But that's the way I'd frame the question, and at least hopefully frame a response. Right?
I would add to that everything Church said. I mean, that's a whole other panel for us that we don't have time for. But yes, we should be diligent and vigilant about what's happening along the Northern Sea Route and off Russia's coast. There's a whole other dynamic. 40, 50 icebreakers. Look, it's in their economy for decades. Don't defend it, but it is a part of the fiber of their economy. Having said that, we can play out, and we do table out all of that. And in the big geopolitics, we think about it all the time. But I think what this panel reinforces is, and what we've all reinforced the last couple of days, is what are we doing about our Arctic? Where are our investments going? We should be mindful of others. And that's why we have a Department of Defense and Homeland Security and all those things, and be vigilant about it. But do we have the proper mapping of our coastline? The answer is no. I can go through a list of what we don't have to develop our own Arctic in the way that the local communities and our state wants to develop the Arctic? Who makes that decision? These are really great discussions to have. I'm glad we're mature enough now to have those, but we have a long way to go to understand our own Arctic, to study it, and to empower our own people locally to build the Arctic that they would like. And so, David, your question is right on, but I think that's a whole other panel for another time, but we'd be happy to talk about it later. Yeah, thank you.